Welcome to the fifth video in the series aimed at improving understanding scenario analysis. If you're following along in the series, we've already covered the need to establish a clear objective and some of the questions needed to help refine or parameterize the scenario. In today's video, we're going to talk about the things needed to execute a successful quantitative exercise. At a high level, quantitative scenario analysis should be comprised of several key elements. The first element needed to support quantitative analysis is a model that has been appropriately built to align with the scenario objectives. Models are often used to translate real-world implications into quantifiable or measurable outcomes. To achieve this, models need to restrict the view of the world and limit what is being analyzed. Therefore, it's important to make sure the model you're using does what it's meant to do and is effectively calibrated using the right information. The second element needed is data. Quantification using a model relies on having robust and credible data to analyze. When it comes to undertaking scenario analysis, the following data attributes to plug into a model should include baseline data or a control set of information. This information could be an existing business plan, a forward-looking view of the world without changes from today, or some other backwards-looking information that is relied upon regularly for the model to demonstrate its alignment with the real world. The second attribute needed is to integrate parameterized changes in data. This is the data underpinning what you want to know from the scenario. This data should be captured in the same way as the baseline data to ensure consistency of analysis. For example, if your baseline data captures changes in GDP due to the energy transition, the parameterized data should also be captured and presented the same way. How the data is parameterized should have traceability back to the purpose of the scenario and the potential outcomes from the analysis. Things like greenwashing risk are increasing for firms that do not apply credible, reliable, and explainable data sources in their climate scenario analysis. The third broader element needed for quantitative analysis is having an analytical due diligence process. Because the process relies on a model, it's critical to not just take model outputs at face value. Operating a model that provides a constrained view of the world requires common sense to play a strong role in testing the validity of outputs. If a model produces outcomes that don't make sense or are counterintuitive to what you would expect, then this needs to be investigated, understood, and explained to those that would use this information to act. Much like the approach for qualitative analysis, once all the checks and controls are operating, the final stage is bringing everything together, conducting the analysis and communicating the impacts. This stage will require investigating model outputs and sharing those outputs with relevant stakeholders. Because modeling is often undertaken by a smaller group of people, it's important to make the insights and outcomes as simple and relatable as possible. You can do the best analysis in the world, but it can fall flat if no one knows what to do with it. So try to get the right people involved here to help you maximize the value. That's all for now on quantitative exercises. In the next videos, we'll go into more detail about communicating outcomes to stakeholders and how to build a program of work from a single exercise.